Okay, so we had a bit of an update to that big Nvidia leak that we talked about this morning in Newswave on the main channel. This was actually a comment from Nvidia around the whole thing, as people are still kind of wondering if this is correct, if this is actually a leak from Nvidia's servers, despite Igor, the person who found all of this, going over exactly how they did it so people, I guess, could recreate it themselves, maybe for the time being until Nvidia gets it sorted out. But Nvidia has pretty much confirmed that this leak is correct, and I wanted to take a look at their response here and even some of the other games that were revealed in this server dump of log files for all these different games that have been at least tested by developers. Guys, if you enjoyed these videos, make sure that like button helps out a ton. And if you're new here to the Spawnwave Plus channel, make sure you subscribe down below. So let's head over here. This is from WCCF Tech. They managed to get the response here from Nvidia. They said Nvidia is aware of an unauthorized published game list with both released and/or speculative titles used only for internal tracking and testing. Inclusion on the list is neither confirmation nor an announcement of any game. Nvidia took immediate action to remove access to the list. No confidential game builds or personal information were exposed. For the most part, from what I could tell, it was just titles of games that had at least been used at some point on GeForce Now, which is a streaming service. So right now, of course, there's a lot of remote work going on for studios, and you got to think then thousands and thousands of developers are essentially using streaming services to test out different builds of games. Could be in early development, could be, as they're saying here, more speculative things going on where they have an idea for the game and they're pitching it. Any of these things could be in play here. But that is confirmation that, yes, a lot of the games that have been going around from this list here, which these are the highlights according to WCCF Tech, although they did leave off Final Fantasy Tactics Remastered. To me, that's a highlight. Or Final Fantasy IX Remake. That's another big one. But having things like Bayonetta 3 get pointed out, being tested on PC, there are people, of course, thinking, oh, does that mean that some of these games like that could be heading to PC? Well, if you think about it, all these games are developed on PC, so yeah, I mean, I'm sure most of these at least have some sort of build where they can test the game out using a PC, whatever programs they are using to develop those games. So technically, they would be. It doesn't mean that they are going to be released on Steam or Epic Game Store or any of that. However, some games did have kind of the Steam ID or Steam app kind of next to it, like God of War. And we do see Sony's push towards kind of the PC landscape right now. So that makes sense. Other things like Grand Theft Auto 3 Remastered, Vice City Remastered, San Andreas Remastered, this is more confirmation with several reports and rumors pointing towards the idea of those coming out anytime now, or at least getting announced anytime. And I am wondering when that would happen. You know, it'd be interesting is if that Nintendo Direct was coming up and Grand Theft Auto 3, Vice City, and San Andreas Remasters got revealed there. What a massive turnabout that would be for Nintendo and Rockstar to have them unveil all of these remasters coming to the Switch and other platforms, but in a Nintendo Direct. We'll see with that. Halo 5 Guardians was also listed for PC in particular, and that's something that has not made its way there yet. We'll see if that does end up happening. But I did notice Metal Gear Solid 2, Sons of Liberty HD, and Snake Eater HD. And that will be cool because we've seen some, I'm going to say, unfortunate builds make their way to PC. They're not the best. I mean, yeah, they're moved over. I think that's what on GOG, but it is like the original versions of the game. So if we had like an HD remaster like we had on the Xbox 360 and with the PS3 and the Vita, actually brought up now to current consoles, I think it'd be awesome. But Metal Gear Solid, the original one, obviously needs some sort of remake treatment, and then 4 just needs to be ported to other platforms because that's like the big one that's just stuck on the PS3 right now. And you see like Ratchet and Clank was in there, Returnal, Sackboy, basically all of the Sony PS5 titles were listed there, minus the one that people were really hoping to see would be like Bloodborne or even Spider-Man. Bloodborne just wasn't there, and yeah, that's kind of unfortunate, obviously, since that's a game that people really want to see get some sort of newer patch. I did notice Time Splitters 2 Remastered Something to think about there, because we know that there is a Time Splitters game in development, but it sounds like it is way off in the distance when it comes to its eventual reveal and then release. But the idea of getting an older Time Splitters like 2, remastering it for current platforms, sounds like something Embracer Group would do, because they do that with a lot of older games. Doesn't necessarily mean they're going to have a massive change or a remaster bordering on the remake line, but them just getting it up to current platforms and making it playable online would be pretty cool. Tekken 8 was in there, which I'm sure Tekken fans are excited to at least see that kind of get mentioned or at least thrown out there. But the list is pretty long. You can go through it yourself, as it has been compiled on GitHub. It's a little messy there, as it's in like an unsorted kind of like spreadsheet, and there are a lot of applications mixed in there. Some people were kind of joking about this, saying, oh, if this list is real, that means Photoshop is coming to Steam. Well, once again, they could technically leverage Nvidia's like GeForce Now to stream all kinds of stuff, to the point where someone may have been showing concept art that they had in Photoshop to different people on a team or something like that, right? So it doesn't necessarily just have to be games being streamed. It could be all kinds of stuff that they're using during the development process, but Nvidia does confirm that this leak is accurate. It's correct. And some of it's speculative. Other parts of it are things that are in active development, as we saw code names even being used for Microsoft's projects. But let me know what you guys think about the list here, now that it's basically been confirmed by Nvidia to be a legitimate leak that just got out there. And let me know which games on the list of about 1,800 different titles getting out there that you hope actually come out. Thanks, guys, for watching, and I'll see you next time.